I like that. A photo of the shooter. If she had that, we wouldn't still be talking. But I doubt she's just pulling this out of her ass. She's got something from the scrubbers. She must be bluffing. Ooh! Oh! Oh! Ah! I'm not save scumming. I'm just in case something happens and the game crashes. I'm gonna get a wrinkle in my brain, and I swear to God. You know what? She has something, but she's bluffing. Listen to your heart, not your gut. She must be bluffing. She must have something. She has something, but we have to see what she has. Like, we have to kind of coast out of her. I'm not sure I followed, Detective. Didn't we establish that there was an optics blackout during the shooting? Sure there was, but this isn't from optics. Good thing I held my tongue. As I thought, the scrubbers must have managed to dig up something from outside the network. Which means... Party's over, counselor. Feast your eyes on this. Well, okay, the quality is lacking. And yet, there it is. They managed to find a quarter needle of evidence in a whole city block of haystacks. What are the goddamn chances? No, with the scale their tools operate on, I guess the chances are, as always, in their favor. Alright, this isn't good, but it's a far cry from worst-case scenario I envisioned. You can even say I got lucky, which means the stakes are... Well, it's a little bit... blurry. Don't look at me, I didn't take the damn thing. Technically, no one took it. Looks like at the time of the shooting, a neighbor was on their phone. Probably venting about how crazy the couple across the way was acting. But if the phone was on, its camera would be on. And so we managed to get the shot through the window. Where to begin? Far away, unfocused, ultra-low resolution, zoomed in, blurred, color shifted. And so compressed it looks like it's from another century. There are tools that can enhance this image any further, and I could count the pixels on one hand. And you could kiss its admissibility in court goodbye. You can't honestly claim that you can identify my client from this image. Is that in my evidence now? Autopsy report. No, I don't think it is. Yeah, no. I just want to check. And there's no way in hell you can get this past the judge. Yeah, you're probably right. We couldn't. But I think I know a DA that could. Either way, it doesn't seem like your client's leaving this police station anytime soon. That photo. What the hell is happening to me? Think I know a DA that could? Don't be so modest, old man. We have photo evidence of a left-handed shooter standing in the hallway at the same time the whole neighborhood heard a gunshot. Okay, what was that? Photograph, here we go. Data recovered from an unknown citizen's phone camera at the time of the shooting. Because the camera was not set to photo mode at the time, the amount of quality of visual data available was severely limited. File markers for post-capture multispectrum image enhancement indicate that the photo has already been cleaned up as best as possible. Okay, so... It's hard to tell, but it looks like they have a right hand, but you can't really fully tell. It could just be his jacket sleeve at his side. Now the clock... Okay, where is the, I don't know what I'm looking for. That's not a revolver. That's not a goddamn revolver. Fidget tubbies! Yeah! Heard a gunshot. And who do we know had their left hand fingerprints all over that gun? You're referring to my client. You think? I just like seeing them. We've established he wasn't wearing his modded arm at all tonight. So he must have shot with his left. Yes, we've also established that he's weak with his left side. A left side that had no gunpowder whatsoever. Forensics will never be perfect, counselor. Sometimes you miss things. Sometimes you take a walk through the rain, and when you finally get where you're going, you somehow end up dry. But that doesn't mean it didn't rain. All of which is to say, before a judge or jury, photographic evidence outweighs a failed sniff test. Carlos is innocent. I know he is. But that photo shows a left-handed shooter. Carlos is innocent. The photo is real. If both are true, that means the photo doesn't show what it appears to show. So, at a loss for words? Never. I'm just confused about one thing. Where was this photo taken from exactly? Exactly? Positional data is usually only accurate to the nearest public router. If we de-anon the phone's owner and ask them where, why bother with any of that? Ballistics and common sense tell us that the perp shot from the room's doorway. The front entrance from the apartment faces the south. There's a hallway that runs back to the bedroom. We're looking straight at the shooter, so it's pretty obvious this was taken from across the north window. Oh, we got new... Okay, crime scene map, so... Western wall facing the eastern wall. The mirror was in the way. You're so awake now! Now that I'm thinking, now I'm actually... From the north? If this is from the north, then why can we clearly see the... It's not that complicated. The neighbor who got the shot must live on the other side of the street. So we're looking into the bedroom from the north window. If she's wrong, I should seize the opportunity to start turning the tide. Yeah, I feel... Photo was taken... Yeah, it was taken from the west because the mirror would be in the way. I'm afraid it's simply not possible, Detective. This photo has to have been taken from the west. What kind of bluff is that supposed to be? The good detectives are misinformed here, and I need to take advantage of it. Time to press the initiative. How do you mean it was taken from the west? The autopsy tells us the victim was shot from the doorway. Your officer's ARC's data tells us the precise location to everything in the room at the time they arrived. And now your photo has shown us the exact moment of the shooting. And... Raise your ante on a hand up to the current max. Answer wrong, you'll lose more credit, but answer correctly, and you can bank up more credit for trickier hands down the line. And together, that tells us that this photo must have been taken through the west window. As long as you consider... Okay, RB, so... I'm doing it. Because mirror was upright, clock on the wall, cushions in bed were neat. Vase is durable, not even a scratch. Yeah. It's the mirror. It's the fucking mirror. I'm doing it. I believe in everything in my being that is the fucking mirror. Just take one look at the clock in that photo. The clock? What about it? Also, the clock was on the wall. On the opposite. Yes. I'm an idiot. I'm an actual idiot. I'm an actual idiot. I was thinking about the mirror. The clock is on the wall. Like the actual wall. So we got a photo from the mirror. So that means somebody was right-handed. Okay, okay, my brain's smarter than I am. I knew the mirror was gonna come into play, but just differently. So yes. We got the clock was on the wall, but what they saw was a mirror, which is reflecting. So is a right hand. Yeah, okay, I'm getting there. Yes. The clock, huh? Seems like London's got an idea. If he's mistaken, I could pounce on it to keep my tempo high. This photo was taken right before the shooting, so... Wait, don't tell me the time of death is wrong. He's wrong. The time of death is correct. Yeah. All in, baby! That's a good question, Detective London. But the answer is no. The autopsy, the clock, and the neighbors all agree. The time of death was 9 p.m. Right, no mistaking that. So then what the hell are you on about? There's a clock on the wall in this photo, analog style. And it reads 9 o'clock. 9 p.m., the time of the shooting. The hell's so special about that? Nothing. There's nothing odd about the time the clock reads, but do you remember there being a clock in the room? What? Actually, I don't recall there being a clock. That makes sense. You wouldn't recall seeing a clock. Because when the police secured the area, the clock had already been knocked onto the floor. And the only clock in that room is in the northeastern corner. And my client has informed me that before the crime, it was hung up on the eastern wall. Like so. The hell is that supposed to be? An artistic rendition. It's, very distinct. If you'd had information on how the crime scene was before the shooting, why didn't you just add that to ARCs? Why did you just add that to ARCs? And show you my hand? Just because Discovery Log compels us to share info, doesn't mean we have to play fair, detective. My girl's not a drawer. Slipped my mind. I'll do that now. The important thing is that if the clock was on the eastern wall before the shooting occurred, the photo must be looking through the western window to see it. Don't start getting ahead of yourself. The victim was shot at 9 p.m., the same time this photo was taken of the shooter. But you want to claim that the clock's still on the eastern wall, well then it would have been knocked down during the fighting. You got your logic backwards, detective. Your precious photo shows that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And there's one other piece of evidence that proves exactly how the cards fell. A vase, cheap durable, not even a scratch, revolver, yeah. It's the glass, and I'm all in, baby, all in. Glass shards? What about them? Nothing much, really. Only that they're on top of the victim's body. I knew that was going to come into play. Remember when I first said it's like, they're on top of the body. And not under it. If the glass fell on the top of the victim's body, that would mean that she was dead on the ground before the room got trashed. But that doesn't make any sense. Why would anyone trash the room afterwards? That's a good question, Carlos. Luckily, it's the detectives who have to delve into the minds of the criminally insane, not us. Tell me, detectives, were there any signs of a struggle at the other crime scenes? Other crime scenes? No, nothing like that. Those attacks would have been over in a matter of seconds. So what did you think when you saw the mess in the bedroom? That this was personal and things had gotten complicated? Shit happens. Shit does happen, detective. But in this case, it seems there's been a general misconception about the order in which shit happened. So what if the room didn't get tossed over until afterwards? He still shot her. And we have a photo right here. And I'm glad you do, detective, because that photo proves my client's innocence. Huh? Proving that it wasn't my client who pulled the trigger is difficult, but maybe more importantly for all of us, time-consuming. Thanks to your photo, I can instead prove that it couldn't have been my client who pulled the trigger. Because the man in the photo can't possibly be Carlos. Like hell it can't! The glass shards prove that the room was pristine at the time of the shooting. And we know that until the room was tossed, that clock was on the eastern wall. Which means that this photo of the shooter was taken from the west. Back to this shit, that's impossible. The only hallway in the apartment runs from the north to the south. The only person with prints on that gun is your client. And the only fact that matters is that he used it to murder 6 innocent people. You're a very honest person, detective. Excuse me? That's why you're such a shitty gambler. You played your cards too early, and now I can steal the pot right out from under you. You're right about the hallway's orientation. You're right about the prints. And this HK figure has claimed 6 lives. But we aren't looking at the hallway in that photo. What? What we're seeing is a reflection! Oh, I'm going full max, baby! Victim stand-up mirror, not digital, yes! I want to pick this so bad just to see what happens. Okay, time shooting, flat may have known, victim 6, yeah. It's the mirror, we know that for... I have to pick, I want to so bad, just to see what happens. I just want to see what happens. Those... This is a photo of the shooter. The fidget tubbies? Slip at the tongue. Oh, okay, nothing actually happens. Damn it, I was hoping to be, like, really dumb and... Okay. Yeah, it's the mirror. What is that? You're trying the glass shards again? At least you saved, yeah. Sort of. By the way, do you recall where those glass shards came from? Yeah, sure. They came from a standing mirror. A mirror that, at the time of the shooting, stood across from the room from the western window. But then that would mean, at that angle, from that viewpoint, it would reflect the hallway. So we're not seeing a shooter with a gun in their left hand. We're seeing a killer take aim with their right arm. And as we all know, my client hasn't had a working right arm in a number of weeks. And he hasn't worn his rental since this morning. So I meant what I said about that photo. I'm glad that it was recovered, because it just proved that my client couldn't possibly have committed this crime. That should be the end of it. Except it looks like Detective Reyes really is a novice gambler. Sunk Cost has got its teeth in her now, clawing up her spine, whispering wounded pride in her ear. It's a cold sweat, hot palms kind of fever. The impotent, irrational fury of losing something you thought was guaranteed yours. But lucky for you, Detective, I'm well versed in shock therapy. You look dissatisfied, Detective Reyes. That's one word for it. Then allow me to put a nice bow on everything for you. In summary, my client's so-called confession was just a note to self. The police found him in shock, reeling at the death of his girlfriend, and arrested him for being next to a gun he forensically couldn't have fired. After being confronted with these facts, he received photographic evidence of the exact moment of the shooting. And instead of utilizing said photo to track down the real killer, he tried to claim it depicted my client. A man without the requisite limb, standing in an architecturally impossible hallway. He could have had a backup arm. He could have stolen one. A little stubbornness can be charming, but this kind of desperation is ugly. It's getting late. Time to bare my fangs. A bit. Is that the best you've got? Even a bare-bones prosthetic off the black market needs to be attuned to the individual's nervous system. He'd have to bring it into a clinic, which would have left a record on his shoulder OS. A record you won't find. And you still have to somehow have gotten rid of it before the police arrive. SOP at the scene of a violent crime calls for full-spectrum scanning of the entire building and 100 meters around it, minimum. So where, Detective Reyes, did he manage to hide a cybernetic arm from your drones in that time between the shooting and his arrest? I feel so smart. Well? Any objections? Detective? God damn it! Bold! I like playing poker. I also like blackjack. So I think that's why this game is also quite grown on me. Show me your hand, Flat. You're uncuffing me? In light of the evidence, we have no reason to hold you. Now I gotta call the DA and tell her I made a mistake. What'd I say? Yeah, you did. Not we made a mistake, huh? Listen, kid, you should know. Detective? Lost my train of thought. But hey, your attorney's a real tiger, and she just fought like hell for you. Make sure you thank her properly. Public defense doesn't pay that well. Yeah. That's kind of you to say, Detective. But my work is its own reward. Sure. I feel exactly the same, Counselor. What happens now? I'll have to speak with the DA about the dismissal. And there's still some paperwork we'll need to go through. But basically, you're free to go. Congrats! You get to leave the casino with your kneecaps intact. Yay? But what am I supposed to do? The detectives will continue their investigation. Their investigation into Heartbreak, huh? Yes. When the authorities are satisfied with their examination of the body, she'll be handed over to the next of kin. And then you can make funeral arrangements. No, that's not what Diane being gone is bad enough. But a serial killer? It's like she died of the flu. It doesn't happen anymore. People die of the flu all the time, but I know what you mean. I can't make sense of it. So what am I supposed to do? Hell if I know. There's some context I could give you. Services, professionals, doctors. No, you've done more than enough for me. When you got here, I was too tired to even defend myself, to try and convince them that I didn't. You saved me. Thank you. You're welcome, Carlos, but it's my job to. No, I mean, thank you for not asking. For not asking if I killed her. Oh, Carlos. I didn't need to ask. I knew you were innocent from the start. Of course he was. After all. Wait, what? The blood's always different. What?! Heart's always in the same place, easy to find, hard to miss. But the blood's always different. A flowering stain unfurling towards an invisible sun. A perfectly unique bloom, only one for each of us. A Rorschach test with singular universal meaning, vitality at its climax. Bursting forth into a red fractal consisting solely of an infinite the end. But the comical thud of a body hitting the floor has its own kind of lowbrow appeal. 8:59 p.m., June 4th, 2086. Bullet number 6 of 6. The gun's empty. It's useless to me now. May as well leave it. Feels like a waste, but whatever. Wait, what? We're Heartbreak?! Hi, Somber! Finding the ammo was almost enough of a hassle to outweigh the advantages. I could sell an untagged gun for a fair bit of cash. But cash can't buy you peace of mind. Oh, don't look so surprised, lady. Bumping around in the dark here must have only been able to see my silhouette. Do you think I was her boyfriend back for an encore of that enthralling conversation? Can't ask her now. Hey! Did you hear that? These old pieces are so goddamn loud. And people aren't even familiar enough with the sound anymore to know to run the other way. Probably roused half the neighborhood. But I didn't see anything I could use as even a partial suppressor on the way in. Could they really not afford some throw pillows? I used the other 5 bullets in outdoor spaces, in small spheres of blind opportunity that the city's eyes couldn't think to pierce. Cramped places usually full of trash. But this room, as cheap as it looks, is at least clean, organized even. So the corpse has a certain satisfying contrast. Except, there's shit on the floor. By the window there are broken pieces of something fragile and tacky. It's fine. It's just one thing out of place. Actually, it's not fine. It's actually really irritating. I kick over the stupid goddamn mirror. 5 perfect crime scenes, each of them not a speck of evidence, nothing to go on. And for the final shot, there just has to be some pile of shit in the corner ruining everything? I kick the wall. Something falls from it, probably be more tasteless bullshit. I toss over the chair, knock the urn, tear into the sheets with my frustration and try to savor the shredding. If it can't be clean, I'll just have to lean into the messy angle. At least it'll be consistent. I don't know if I like this anymore now. Like, why are we the bad guy? This is all so stupid. Honestly, I'm not the ego-driven type. In fact, I pride myself on my humility. Now, was it satisfying when the first 3 went down with single shots? Yes. But so what? I'm not made of stone. After that, I did start to actively aim for the heart, but... Heartbreak killer? Really? Don't people have anything better to do with their time? What kind of miserable, lifeless voyeurs would obsess over something that's none of their business? Should let her cook. All the threads and breakdowns of the goddamn theory crafting, and all for the Heartbreak killer. Sounds like a soap opera villain, from a season where the writers were on strike. I'd feel insulted by the label, but no, that's someone else's name. They came up with it. They spread it. They marketed it. Heartbreak's got nothing to do with me. He's just some reclusive, lonely, socially impotent loser who shot 6 people because... Well, I'm sure people come up with something. That he got rejected one too many times, or whatever. Me? I killed those people because I saw them and I wanted to. And I've killed a lot more than just 6. At least the room is thoroughly trashed now. If I just walked away after seeing that mess by the window, it would have irritated me to no end. And now that it doesn't match the MO of the last 5 perfectly, it'll irritate the cops to no end instead. Good riddance, heartbreak. You enjoy your 15 minutes in the spotlight. Really savor it. I'm going home. The air is weighty tonight, thick, energized. A heavily foreshadowed summer rain I could feel on every hair. They call this kind of humidity oppressive, but I disagree. The warm tension on your skin, like in those short moments just after the shower turns off, when the steam lingers, yeah, it's always most comfortable right afterwards. Maybe there's no disagreement to be had. Oppressive things can be comforting too. So, Dora, Morgan, the attorney, is the killer. Only the guilty ones run. I don't know about that, but I know I've never felt guilty about any of this. And I walk. 5:01 a.m., June 5th, 2086. I don't know how I feel about that. I really don't. I really don't know how I feel about that. Like, seriously. Sorry, using my left is still... That's okay. You can just initial in those spots. I took a scenic route home, courtesy of our fine city sprawling public transportation, and got in a bit after 11 p.m. Just because she wanted to. You get no other explanation other than she just felt like it. The first 3, she just managed to hit the heart by chance, and then she started to actually actively aim for it. And then she was just done. She's like, apparently she's a killer that just keeps on killing, but she's done it many more times before, is what she said. Had myself a thorough shower, drank a glass of milk, did some stretching, made sure my phone was on. Time went by evenly. Around 1:40 a.m., a posting for public defender work came up. Decent rate since it was so late and so urgent. I had wagered correctly that the boyfriend would have enough sense to ask for a lawyer and enough debt that he'd need to be provided one. All I had to do was stay awake. There wasn't much competition after 1 in the morning. Okay, where else? Here and here. How did I phrase it earlier? Criminal defense attorneys aren't exactly flush with customers. Why wouldn't I take on a job where I already knew more than the cops? It would have been easy to convince Carlos to plead out. I would have gotten paid the same, too. But easy is dangerous. Carlos was, of course, innocent, so his conviction would never be airtight. There would be doubts, questions, appeals, maybe even fans, depending on his looks. More attention on HK and his crimes, more headaches. A cold case rotting in the very far back of the public's awareness is always preferable to one open and shut in haste. Now, with no more murders matching HK's MO, there won't be any additional public pressure to find a culprit. Now Heartbreak can just starve to death, out of sight and mind like any other fluke in the system. Almost done. Getting involved with a case this intimately does have its risks. Hell, I might have even overdone things here or there, like lighting up a smoke inside of an interrogation room just to make doubly sure I didn't smell of gunpowder myself. That London fellow seemed more fixated on it than I would have liked. But obviously, everything turned out rosy. And it's worth it for the finality of it all. Seeing the authorities' failings from the best seat in the house? That's just a bonus. Thanks again, Morgan, for everything. I'm sure Diane is grateful too. Funny. I didn't even know her name. What the fuck? Something the matter? No, sorry, it's just... I was mad when I left the apartment. I know she was too. So when she died... Death was instantaneous, Carlos. I can't imagine that she was in any pain. In fact, I can guarantee she was dead before she hit the ground. No, I know, but I just keep thinking that she must have died angry at me. That she must have died hating me. What would be the evidence? Save! It's also, I'm gonna see what, yeah, we can see what happens. Tell the truth, Carlos, there's something I've been wondering about myself. What is it? Something I noticed in the ARCS data that I didn't quite understand. A piece of the puzzle I couldn't fit anywhere else. But maybe you can make sense of it. Oh, the pills! His pills. What is that? Where did you find that? That pill organizer was found in the victim. She had grasped it in her hand when she died. Had it grasped in her hand when she died. Obviously, the police added it to the ARCs, but it was quickly ruled irrelevant. Seems like it contained tripexisone, prescribed to help modders with phantom itches. They're small tablets, and they're tricky clasps, too, like for a pill organizer. Could be hard to handle with an unsteady hand. No one will ever know what she was feeling when she died. Even if they did, feelings are complicated. You can feel angry, happy, and sad all at the same time. But as far as facts are concerned, it would appear that when she died, what she was doing was setting out your medications for the week. To my eyes, anyway. "5:01 a.m., June 5th, 2086. Long night. That was too far, just now. Practically rubbing it in his face. It's not like I care about his feelings. I doubt I'll ever even see him again. But overstepping like that is pure hubris. And hubris invites a downfall. So why? Why did I even bother? It was the last piece of the puzzle, I suppose. Honestly, to show more restraint next time. Though there won't be a next time for heartbreak. The gun's in custody. There's no more bullets left. There won't be a 7th victim. There won't be any more leads to pursue. The media will move on to their next obsession. I'll move on to my next MO. And no one will ever... Found you, District Attorney Rockford. Sorry, can I try that again? I'm so fried. By all means. What? Counselor Morgan, morning, noon, or night, you're always so put together. Thank you. I don't get it. How do you sleep at night? Pardon? You do white noise, aromatherapy, our Edgeworth? Whatever you're doing, I need to steal it. God. I must have bags under my eyes dark enough for the dumpsters. Assistant District Attorney Emma Rockford. She's a prosecutor, the lawyer who argues for the state in court, trying to prove a defendant's guilt. And despite her sometimes unkempt appearance, she's probably the sharpest person to fill the position in decades. I should know, because I haven't beaten her once. Worse yet, she has a remarkable ability to compartmentalize all that adversarial energy and only bring it out in courtroom. It's part of what makes her good at her job. And hard for me to read. Should I buy a new mattress? Whatever they got you doing at this ungodly... What have they got you doing at this ungodly hour, Emma? Oh, well... Actually, I'm here for you. Me? Your client was a suspect in the Heartbreak killings. That's my case. Well, then you must have been relieved finding out that you won't have to go to trial against me. No? Why would I be worried about going up against you? It's always the unintended barbs with her. So you're working with those detectives? Yeah, London and the new girl. Reyes. They've been reporting to me in preparation for trial. Preparation for trial? That seems ambitious. I guess they gave you the rundown. They've been doing everything they can, but it's hard to catch a killer who leaves behind so little. It's hard to kill while leaving behind so little. So Reyes told you that they had HK in custody and you popped out of bed all excited to run down here? Hardly. I haven't slept in 40 hours. Too much on my mind. So when I heard about a case with a single female victim shot through the heart, yeah, my ears perked up. But that's about all. Oh? I mean, Carlos Flat, a serial killer? The same serial killer that's outsmarted the state for weeks? She's not using his middle name. He was found with a murder weapon, but I can answer that any number of ways. Lucky shot, victim's blood on sleeve, no gunpowder found. So was she trying to... It could have been Flat, but yeah, okay, yeah. Sorry, it's the code. Yeah, victim's blood, no gunpowder, yeah, that's it. That may be true, but then I glanced at the report. You glanced at it? No gunpowder residue on him or his clothes. Right. Too remorseful, too apologetic in that note. Whatever it was about, his dominant arm modded, with documented sensitivity issues, never could have made the shots that clean. Not without getting close enough to leave scorch marks. Not to mention, he's too tall for the ballistics entry angles, and probably too heavy to not leave imprints. She got all that from a glance. But I'm sure a competent lawyer like yourself pointed all that out the minute you walked in here. Of course. Worst part is, she's not even being sarcastic. Yeah, of course it couldn't have been him. Long-term relationship, physically imposing, argumentative. She's not the type to bottle things, so not the type to bottle things up. He didn't match the profile. Profile? Yeah, the... Right, sorry, you probably never heard of it. I know what a goddamn profile is. A profile is a reconstruction of a criminal psychology based on evidence from their crimes. Kind of fallen out of fashion for the last few decades. Not much need to guess about the why when 99 times out of 100 the who was caught on camera. Or before they even leave the house. I've had to find some real fossils and oddballs to get advice on how to go about it. But then I think I'm getting the hang of it. I think I'm getting the hang of it. About profiling. So this profiling is some kind of investigative technique? The theory is that a crime can tell you something about the nature of the person who committed it. Stabbing, overkill, points to passion, rage, lust. They probably knew their victim. Poison and guns, meanwhile, suggest they can't overpower their victim physically. And then there's things you can assume about nearly all serial offenders. Childhood trauma, prior criminal record, few or no meaningful attachments. There's a lot of recurring themes in their stories. Detectives say HK doesn't leave evidence. So how much can his crimes possibly tell you? That he's diligent. Almost perfect. Highly intelligent, painstakingly organized, and with enough criminal connections to get his hands on an untagged firearm. It's rare to see her this animated outside the courtroom. It's almost like she's enjoying herself. A sheltered house cat who's picked up the scent of a mouse for the first time. A lone wolf, educated, but all her playful, lethal instincts coming to life. Probably overqualified or undervalued, though I'm not thrilled about the fact that in the metaphor, I would be the... Know what I mean? Definitely. And considering the marksmanship, the detective said that HK would have needed insider information on optics. So does that mean heartbreaks in law enforcement? Never in 10 billion years. Oh. Antisocial, independent, despises authority. They'd be like a stallion applying for a job on a merry-go-round. They'd be kicking kids in the head after the first full rotation. Right, that's exactly how I'd put it. There must be some connection to the police, though. Maybe secondary or tertiary? These types can't help but insert themselves. Insert themselves? I don't do anything even resembling that. Wait, if HK's not a cop, how do they know about the blackout thing? Crime metastatistics analysis, probably. Pardon? Take the emergency response times from across the city and map them out. Look for brief spikes and delays, chart out the dips in... Sorry, technical, I know. But all the requisite data is publicly available. With a map, a spreadsheet, a calculator, anyone can reverse engineer the timing if they wanted to. That is such an unpleasant thought, Emma. Well, at least this heartbreak maniac will slow down now that he's lost his weapon. He didn't lose it, he chose to leave it behind. That tells me he's confident he can do just fine without it. And it just makes me even more certain that these aren't his only kills. Were there other shootings with the same MO? No, not that I found. Other victims that fit the description? No, but I'm not overly focused on the victim's appearance anyway. I mean, these six victims all look like each other, but they also look like a lot of people. That's true. Hell, they kind of look like me. Do they? Oh no! Sure. What? Don't you see it? I hadn't thought about it. Point is, no one can kill that cleanly when it's their first time. Getting things that perfect takes practice. So I know that HK must have had a lot more than 6 occasions of practice, Morgan. That's why I think heartbreak is a misnomer. Get toxic Guried! You've got something catchier in mind? I just didn't think shooting them in the heart has any particular significance. If anything, it's a testament to their accuracy and their cold-blooded efficiency. The best possible use of 6 untagged bullets. 6 kills guaranteed, no matter what kind of life support mods they were packing. Their real signature isn't the bullets or the gun. It's the perfection. That's hard to wrap your head around. I'm saying that these 6 murders were just a fluke. A slip-up, a mistake. Exactly, a mistake! They got too clean, too efficient, and now they've got the public's attention. It's no wonder they're pissed. Are you talking about the crime scene? Yeah, probably through the detectives for a loop, right? Based on what you've said, I don't blame them. Whoever trashed that room doesn't seem like the smooth operator you've been describing. On the contrary. I don't follow. His was the last bullet, their last shot. The other 5 were perfect. So if anything was out of place this time around, they must have thrown one hell of a temper tantrum. You make them sound like a child. Child-ish. And cowardly. And two-faced. Someone who hates to lose almost as much as they love to win. Your profile will tell you all that? That? No. That part's just... takes one to know one. So to summarize, you're looking for a cold-blooded, faceless, perfectionist killer who you think has no persistent MO or victim type. You became a god in a city with an 8-digit population. Well, good luck. I don't need luck. I only need more information. Well, I'm sure the city would be happy to provide you with more resources. No, Morgan. I mean, I need more crime scenes. Oh. Sad truth is, if Heartbreak walked away today, I'd never catch them. Only way my net narrows is if they keep piling up bodies. Not a very fair trade, is it? No, it isn't. But getting screwed over is a given. It's a deal with the devil. Fair enough. That's why the game is called Of the Devil. Woof. Okay, that rant was probably morbid and detailed. I need to get out more, or sleep more. Or sleep less, but harder. You think a higher thread count would help? Don't worry about it. I'm always happy to listen to you ramble. It's a lot more pleasant than having to face you in the courtroom. Sorry, but that's the adversarial process. So no hard feelings, yeah? No hard feelings. We're both just doing what we do. I could use a cup of coffee. How about you? Don't tempt me. If you fall asleep face first into the table, I won't even take a picture. Okay. Just don't expect this to make a difference next time we're at each other's throats. Heartbreak won't claim any more victims. In 2 weeks, the media will have moved on to the next sensation. And the police will have moved on to cases that they actually stand a chance of closing. It's what people do. But Emma is... different. She'll set it aside and work a dozen other cases, never bringing it up. But a private corner of that frustratingly sharp mind of hers would continue to whittle away at it. Never finishing, but never quitting either. So I can't afford to take my eyes off of her. As long as that's the case, I may as well try to enjoy the view. Ah! Episode 0. End. Android. Which means you're going to be living with my friend for a while. For how long? I'm sorry, I don't know. There's no need to look that upset over it. My face barely moved. It may as well have been a blatant pound from where I'm sitting. Yeah, like that. This friend of yours, they're trustworthy? Absolutely. In fact, I trust them more than anyone. Hey, come on. It'll be fun. Really? Really. Educational, too. Enjoy your Dexter Yuri. I think you can stand to learn a lot from someone like Morgan. I don't know how to feel about this. See, the thing about Dexter is I was okay with him being a serial killer because he went after other serial killers. Morgan in this, and the fact that it's Morgan is not lost on me. Even if it's not intentional, it is completely not lost on me now. She just kills for the kill. Her is just a toxic Yuri. Brian Mulholland. Why does that sound familiar? Wee. This was actually really quite good. Kinda gay to kill chicks who looked like your rival. And he shall appear. To be continued in... Person I know, Morgan, when it comes to people. Firstly, I think it's cruel to bring something that flawed into the world. You're a criminal defense attorney, and we're at a crime scene. I think you can guess what happens next. I've never stolen anything. That wasn't already compromised. Work hard, and the company will always have you set for life, and after, too. Can't tell you how many musicians he's screwed over by a big smile and a fast signing bonus. So it's not just a lawyer job thing? You're just like a doorman on the weekends, too? For determining fault, determining cause of death is like a breath of fresh air. The company wheels don't stop spinning for anything. We hope to keep this quiet for very long. Why am I doing all these voices? I'm gonna forget them all by the time I have to do them again. It's a million times more likely than the alternative. That heartbreak could ever stop themselves from killing. Father said that you owed him. I don't do anything out of the goodness of my heart. But when I take a job, I never half-ass it. Of the Devil, Episode 1. An Idle Mind. Okay, results. Let's see how we did. 2 out of 2 articles. 6 out of 6 profiles. 18 out of 18 key terms. 16 out of 16 pieces of evidence. 36 total credits earned. Congratulations! You finished episode 0 with 36 credit. You've also unlocked concept art and bonus scenarios based on your highest score for episode 0. You also have a total of 36 remaining score credit to spend on the phone charms and case colors based on the highest credit with which you finished this episode. Cool. I'm gonna guess these are for like the full game, not just. What's the bonus? London interview, Ray's interview, Carlson Morgan interview. We're getting into male-dominated. God. Big titty prosecutor, Kia. Oh, there we go. So how do I buy stuff? Said I had enough to buy things like phone cases and... I'll figure it out later. God dang it, I'm actually enjoying the hell out of this. The rest of the achievements look like they're for the other episodes. Nice. Nicely done. God, now I have to get the rest of it. Yeah. I got my brain wrinkle, so that means I have to like buy episode 2. Sorry, episode 1 and then 2 and then 3 when it comes out. God dang it. I still don't know how to feel about the fact that she's evil. Like, actually evil. But still, this was entertaining. This was quite entertaining.